Yeah. We really boxing. Who wanted the battles? Let's see.
Oh, we boxing, yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking, defeat ain't an option. Let them know, shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know, every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know, I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show, this is BVO. This how it's finna go. I'ma throw some jabs, make them think my punch is weaker than I hook his ass. This the ring, not the kitchen, but I'ma cook his ass. Me and him, that's the pro versus the rookie class. All my life I had to fight, but I still love it. Me and BVO got moves that you can't steal from us. And these haters be throwing shots, but I don't feel nothing. I ain't gonna lie, shit, they alright, but we a little rougher. Step up for the title and face your rival, this ain't no little tussle. Bet I beat no bird, being chicken to get your feathers ruffled. Footwork, I'm dancing around my opponent like the Cupid shuffle. Good work, bodies hit the flow, that can't move a muscle. The upside is we ain't in the streets, shooting and shooting up. Catch me in the ring, sticking, moving and suited up. I know everybody can eat, but I ain't full enough. Oh, you said it's smoking some beef, I guess I'm pulling up. Oh, we boxing, yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking, defeat ain't an option. Let them know, shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know, every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know, I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show.
All right, for our viewers who don't know, tell them who the original man is.
The original man is the Asiatic Black Man. He's the maker of BVO. He's the cream of planet Earth. He's father of civilization and God of this universe, Sarit. And there's only one God.
You on mute, BVO.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy BVO Boxing, coming to you live and direct. I got my brother D Free, the Puerto Rican Prince. I got my man T'Challa, aka Prize Fighter, in the house. So we got a little bit of a 5-minute delay. Jay is fixing something right now. But I want to talk about we got a big interview today with Jay Hardcore, a brother that's done some big things in boxing. We're gonna get some of his life story as well. Salute to my man Temper Tommy, my man Tim Layton, Horry Faints, the underrated brother over there, man. Salute to my man Judah Vision, my brother D1. And we got, the cool thing is, man, it's good to get information. And, you see people all the time, but you don't know their story necessarily. So this would be a good way for us to know a story. But what you guys think about the whole Loma ducking Tank? Are you guys surprised by that?
Not really. I mean, you see what Tank been doing as of late. Loma getting up there in age. It's not surprising the old man don't want to get knocked out because, I mean, let's be honest. The 3 losses that he got, they was all controversial losses. A lot of people thought that he won against Devin Haney. A lot of people thought he was coming back on T.O. I didn't see the first loss that he took with the Mexican, but they try to erase that one. So I mean, it's not surprising that he don't want to be a mean because I mean let's be honest. If Loma gets knocked out by Tank Davis, that's gonna be the talk for a while because everybody was talking about how Loma is the Matrix. He's better than Floyd. He's better than Muhammad.
That was the one that got me.
They were talking crazy about Loma, so he gets slept by Tank. It's gonna be talks and memes put up for months. So I'm not surprised that he ducked.
Yeah, I expect him to duck the fight. I didn't. At first, I thought I was like, okay, all right, and then after a while, man, I just didn't feel like that it was gonna happen anyway. Lomachenko, he don't want. He only wants to pick and choose. He said he can't get up for a fight that he wanted. That's what got my ear. He the one said that he wanted that fight. And now that the fight's in front of you, oh, I need to take time with my family. I need to do this and I need to do that. So I was like, all right, man. We don't even got to talk about Lomachenko. He's a duck. It's going around the world, the boxing community, that he's a duck. He blatantly ducked the fight, and he can just ride off into the sunset, I guess. No, I mean, we don't care. He said he wants to fight at the end of the year. but he ducked the fight. So I bet you if it be one of them bums, he'll start feeling real froggy to jump in. But
Yeah, if
I
he was
don't want
fighting
to know.
Maxie Hughes, it wouldn't be he wasn't focused or he wasn't ready.
Right.
And it just kind of stinks because really this is the fight we wanted. And I got to be honest, I kind of did some research, and it looks like Loma has been avoiding Tank for a long time. He's been saying for a long time he didn't want this fight. So salute to our host, the Melanin Queen. We still waiting to hear her say yes or no. But
Salute
salute
to
to
the
her.
queen.
I don't know. I don't know if y'all saw a video that was put out. Somebody interviewed Loma as he was walking, and a lot of people said that Tank Davis didn't want to fight with Loma. Well, Loma said that he wanted to fight Tank Davis at 130, and then Loma had moved up to 135. But he said that Tank Davis said he wanted to fight him. Tank Davis said he wanted to fight. He wanted to be on pay-per-view, and he was like, "Oh, Tank Davis, you never main evented a fight. You was only a co-main event, and you want to fight on pay-per-view. What are you talking about?" So that lets everybody know that Tank Davis ain't been avoiding Loma. He wanted to fight with Loma. Floyd was the one that didn't make the fight. Like
I
I
was about
told
to say that was his team that had a lot to do with that. You're right, Free.
everybody before, Floyd didn't make the fight. Floyd was the one that was making all the fights. He didn't make the fight. So I mean, it is what it is. Even Bob said it. Bob said, "Yeah, Tank wants to fight, but Tank is under Floyd, and we know Floyd is the one that makes his fight. So tell Floyd to make the fight." So
He ain't want to
Bobby
get no money with Bob.
Tank wanted to fight.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it comes to the fact that Loma never wanted that fight. You can go.
that's what I
Go ahead,
believe.
y'all. My bad. Go ahead. I know I'm
Nah, it's
yelling
all
you
right.
wrong. Go ahead.
Nah, he was all right. You cooking? Go ahead.
No, he's doing something right now.
Okay. Well, no, I don't think that he ducked. I never thought that he ducked. Cause Tanker, he seemed like the dude that would fight anybody, even back in the day. So I'm agree with BVO 100% on this one. I think that was his team behind that. Because at the time that he pissed Floyd Mayweather off, Mayweather was like, "All right, well, put him in there with Lomachenko." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Damn, that's your own fighter, dog. You making it seem like he gonna go get smoked." But Tank is he's seasoned now. He's at the best. He's at the best that he can be. He's over there. He's doing a good thing for the young and up and coming fighters out there in Paris. So he's gonna be a part of that. I'm pretty sure he's gonna train out there with them kids, do his thing, and it's gonna be good for Gervonta. That looks good for him as a man in society. So I'm glad that he's doing that for them young boys out there. I'm pretty sure them young boys in that team is excited to have Gervonta Davis out there. They all gonna fight better now because Tank watching. So that was dope. That was a dope move. And shout out to the court system that let him slide, because that would have been corny if they didn't let him go do that. So I'm glad they let him slide and go do that, man.
Oh no, he could travel now. He's not on house arrest no more.
But I thought he had to get permission to go there, is what they were saying.
No, he
didn't have to get permission to go to Paris.
As long as it's business, it's business. He ain't gotta get permission. He say, I'm going out of town on business.
Well, I was under the assumption that he had to go and
he's back living in Vegas. He's not living in Baltimore no more. He don't stay in Baltimore. He stay back home. He's back home. So
good for him.
But yeah, they doing the Olympics. Boxing is doing the Olympics this year. They got the Olympics this year in boxing. They say Tank Davis supposed to be entering the Olympics. So I mean, we're gonna see what goes with that. He's supposed to be entering the Olympics. But the big news that came out today, Turkey has taken over Top Rank in Golden Boy.
I don't know if he took it over. I think that they said they was partnering up with him.
Well, I mean, you partner up with him because
either way, it's good, D3. So I'm not disagreeing. I'm not like disputing or going against what you're saying. But I did see that. I was like,
Yeah. So they partner up with him, or he took over him is because
they can fund him.
Yeah, he got the money. It's the funding. So
funding.
We might see some different moves being made.
Well, it seemed like Oscar and Bob was like recently, wouldn't mind working with one another because they seem like they both had the same agenda to try to get rid of the PBC or do something to try to sabotage Al Heyman. But you can see that he's doing just fine with the Amazon deal, and I'm pretty sure the Turkey man is gonna spin the block and go talk to Al Heyman. He ain't stupid. The guy's Turkey man gonna spin the block and talk to Al Heyman too.
I mean, he's
He
gonna
already
talk to Heyman, but I don't know. I don't know how that deal was going to go down because they just struck a deal with Amazon. So I don't know how that deal going to go down because Amazon, those fights have to be on Amazon, and Turkey deals with a lot of DAZN fights.
his own stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
I mean, I think that they'll figure that out. Like, all right, well, play it on Amazon, but also we gonna play it on DAZN. Maybe that might be but maybe the Turkey man don't like that. We don't know. He might say no. You know what I'm saying? Or
no, Amazon is
I mean, not Turkey. I'm sorry. Yeah, Amazon might say no. We
yeah.
ain't putting on.
Amazon,
We got.
they got a rack of money. They got a
Yeah,
rack of money.
they
So
got
everybody
bread too.
they was talking about how Turkey got all that money. Amazon, I think Amazon got more money than them, if I'm not mistaken.
I ain't gonna go. I don't know enough about
I'm
Turkey.
I'm talking about what I saw in the reports. They
Yeah,
said
I mean,
Amazon.
I wouldn't be surprised. We talking about Amazon, one of the not one, but
Amazon. I think Amazon was just the sports alone was like 100 and something. I think it was like 200. I did the interview. I mean, I did the video on it a while back. I can't remember. I gotta go back and look. I don't wanna say something that's wrong, but it was up there. They if they not in front of Turkey, they right behind them as far as money wise. So I mean, Amazon, we don't need your money. We got money. They
yeah,
might say we don't need your money.
they might want more money though. We don't know. But hey, again, like I said, free. That's good because now you can get them cross promotion fights. You know what I'm saying with top ranking Golden Boy, but I mean that's good for the sport. I mean Turkey has an agenda, bro. He wants everybody. You know what I'm saying? He wants the whole thing. He wants everybody. PBC, he wants them all. You know what I mean? So he can create a boxing league. I don't want him to be in charge. I mean, I ain't gonna say I don't want him to be in charge, but I prefer, because having them fights in Saudi Arabia, man, that's tough for us. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get in position to watch it. We be moving around on Saturday afternoons and stuff. Our kids got sports and all of that. You know what I'm saying, man? So shit,
We got the guest in the building.
Yeah.
What's going on, Jay Hardcore? What's going on with you, man? Appreciate you coming through.
Yes.
Oh, you on mute?
You on mute?
Mic is on. There we go. Are we on now?
You on, big dog?
How y'all feeling today?
What's going on, man?
Good, brother.
What's going on, man? Oh, but
hey, I'm just keeping life simple, man. I was getting my dinner on. I apologize for my tardiness.
Oh, it's all good.
We good. You good?
So all is well. So we want to get started. So I ask you this, man. What was it like growing up in DC in the 70s?
Say that again.
I said, what was it like growing up in DC in the 70s?
In the 70s, well, in the 70s, I was kind of young because I was born in '68. But
70s and 80s. How's that? 70s and 80s. Yeah. How about that?
Y'all trying to make me real old, ain't you?
That's BVO.
Y'all trying to make me real old. Give me a second. I'm gonna go out front. All righty. Okay.
So what was it like growing up in DC in the 70s and 80s, man?
I didn't grow up in the 70s. I grew up in the 80s. I was a little kid in the 70s. But in the 80s, man, it was kind of tough. You know, I mean, it was a real rugged streets coming up, man, during the 80s. You know, we always just trying to get ours at that particular time, man. And I'm not proud about my time in the '80s at all.
Yeah.
Hmm?
So one of the things I looked up, man, you had a young mother, man. So what was that like? Were you guys like friends, or was it? I was growing up with your mom. I grew up with my mom as well.
Well, my mom was a hard worker, man. My mom had me when she was 14 years old, and she worked all the time. You know what I mean? So she worked very hard, and she became very successful. You know what I mean? Due to her hard work, she ended up starting a very successful company that had over 100 employees, and I grew up in that business.
Okay. Go ahead, Free. Go ahead, Free. I'm still moving around.
Okay, okay. So coming up
You hear me, Free?
in DC, what was? I mean, I know you got into the boxing. Boxing wasn't real big in DC, but it was starting to make a name for itself in the '80s. Who was the ones that you like watching coming out of DC? I mean,
With
I
DC,
Ray.
boxing was always big in DC. I mean, come on, that's the land of Sugar Ray Leonard, Simon Brown. I mean, boxing. I mean, you had to come through DC to show that you had some smoke. To be honest, because all the
Yeah,
slick fighters came out of Washington D.C.
yeah. So I mean, I know Simon Brown and Sugar Ray. Who was some of the
Winky
other?
Wright.
Well, yeah, Winky Wright. Who, what was the heavyweight? Was he a heavyweight or no? He was a middleweight. The middleweight that fought later from over there in Paradise. Oh, what is his name? I can't think of his
Middleweight in
name.
Paradise. I'm
Ah,
not
I
sure
think
who
he
you're
was
talking
middleweight.
about.
He might have been welterweight. I'm thinking middleweight because he was kind of big towards the end of his career. But he's from Paradise. I can't think of his name right now. But I mean,
I'm
we
not
we had
sure who you.
we had
I
some
know
nice guys.
Winky White actually went to the same high school I went to, H.D. Woodson.
Okay, okay, okay. And that's the thing. I never knew Winky Wright was from DC. For some reason, I didn't know Winky Wright was from
Yeah,
DC.
I didn't either. I always got the assumption that Winky was from Cali or Florida for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until a little while
Yeah, he's
ago.
from Washington
Yeah,
D.C. Went to H.D. Woodson.
yeah. Shout out Winky. That's my dude.
That's news to me because I definitely didn't know. Out of all the people that we talk about that came out of DC, Chop Shop, uh, uh, um,
I like Chop Chop.
Chop Chop
what's
was
the
nice. I
man?
mean, Chop Chop gave Floyd hell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he wobbled Floyd. He wobbled Floyd real good. He cracked him real good.
yeah. You had Sean Bay Mitchell. You had what's my
Don
other
Bay
man?
was nice.
Start with a W. What's his name? He fought at welterweight as well. Oh, I can't think of his name neither. But he came up with Sean Bay and Chop Shop and all them. I think he was maybe a couple of years older than them. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know exactly I can't remember who he fought, but God dang.
I don't know if you
But I
can
mean,
you hear me now.
it was a lot of guys. Let me ask you
Yeah.
a question. 'Cause a lot of people seem to don't know who he is. Do you remember Will, William Joppy? That's who I'm thinking about. William Joppy.
Oh, Wim
William,
Joppy was nice.
yeah, William Joppy. That's who I'm thinking about. Do you remember a guy by the name of Gary Jones? Came
Say
up,
that the name again.
Gary Jones.
I'm not familiar with him. No.
Okay, Gary Jones is the older brother of Gary Russell. He's the older brother of Gary Russell.
Well,
He
all
fought.
of the Russells, all of them had the same exact name, Gary and
Yeah,
Gary
they all had
Russell.
Gary.
All of them
But
had
the
the
only
middle.
difference was,
All the middle names were different, but all
yeah,
the first and last names were the same.
except for their oldest brother. Their oldest brother, his name was Gary Jones because he had a different mother. He had a different mother.
Oh
Yeah,
wow! Well, you're educating me on something because I've only known all the Russells that all had the same name.
yeah, that's my first cousin. That's how I'm related to the Russells because of their older brother. He's actually locked up now on some street stuff. He got locked up. He fought as well, and his name was Gary Fast Hands Jones.
Wow. Okay.
He came out of DC. He was actually managed by Sugar Ray. He was managed by Sugar Ray.
I'm gonna dig and check into that.
Yeah. What are some of the guys that you like to follow outside of the guys from DC that you like to follow coming up in DC, but the guys that wasn't from DC that you followed a lot?
I'm gonna be honest, man. Coming up, man, I enjoyed Ray. I mean, Ray was just my guy, man. I enjoyed Ray a lot. I was big on the heavyweights, man. Mike Weaver, Tate, Foreman, Lights Out. I mean, I enjoyed the heavyweights because when I was coming up, the heavyweights was the glamour division.
Right.
You know, the lighter weight of division started becoming the glamour divisions when Floyd took over. But up until then, we always loved the heavyweight division. That was just the glam division at the time, you know.
Yeah. Yep. That's for sure. I mean, heavyweights always, as the heavyweights go, so does boxing. That was the saying for a long time.
And Mike Tyson was my idol at the time. When Mike Tyson lost, man,
hurt.
I'm gonna tell you, I went through something.
Yo, me too, dog. And I don't even think I barely might have been 10. And I'm telling you,
wow.
To this day, I've only seen that fight in its entirety 2 times. The night that it happened, and one more time after that as I got older and as an adult or whatever. But to me, when I seen Buster do that did something. It took something away from me, man. Same thing with Wilder. I felt the same way. I was like, damn, that's that. I haven't watched that fight, that second Wild or the third one, the Wilder Fury Jones. So I feel what you're saying, dog. Like that joint did something to me when Mike went down by Buster, man. That hurt.
Yeah. I remember when Mike lost, man. That's when I decided that I wouldn't be invested in any more fighters. I'll just be invested in the sport. You know what I mean? So I never loved the fighter like I had did for Mike, man. And after that, I just loved the sport, man. And even though Earl Spence was my guy, but when Earl lost, it was easy for me because I said I wasn't going to get that invested in any fight ever again.
Yeah. I mean, I had I tell them all the time, my 2 favorite fighters, they retired years ago, and that was Sugar Ray Leonard and Roy Jones. Those were my 2 favorite fighters. My first fight that I ever seen, I went to Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler. My father took me to that fight. And that ever since then, I was a huge Sugar Ray Leonard fan because my father and my mother went to school with Sugar Ray Leonard. And so I was always a huge Sugar Ray Leonard fan. But
so they was in the Palmer Park area?
Yeah. They grew up in Palmer Park, Kentland, Dodgeview. They grew up in those areas. And I mean, I grew up in those areas too, but then I branched off into DC and stayed with my aunt a lot.
Yeah.
How do you separate your feelings when you watching these boxers for a fighter that you actually like? How do you separate your actual feelings for the fighter and just watching the boxing matches and try to be an unbiased opinion on the fight?
Well, I think now at this point in my life, man, I just look at them all as just fighters, man. And I see with Mike Tyson, man, Mike was like our idol, man. They called him the baddest man on the planet, this, that, and the third. He was like, we had Superman, Batman, but Mike Tyson was our
Mike
hero,
Tyson,
man.
Right?
Yeah. That was our Superman. That was our Batman, and I never looked at anybody else like that ever again. You know what I mean? So it's kind of easy for me now. I get, like I said, my favorite fight is Earl Spence, but when he lost against Crawford, okay, let's move on to the next one. You know what I mean? Tank's my guy, but if Tank was to lose, okay, let's move on. I love the sport more than anything.
Right.
Yeah. I had to
You know,
learn the hard
I
way.
grew up in an era of greatness. My first fight was Muhammad Ali versus Ken Norton 3. You know what I'm saying? That was the first fight I ever watched in my life, man. And I met Muhammad Ali about the time I was 12 years old. So I was turned out when it came to boxing, man.
Yeah. I
So
was
how,
like that too, hardcore. I had to learn the hard way and not attach myself to fighters because once Mike got
Yeah.
once Mike got brutally knocked out, I grew the same kind of I guess feelings toward Roy Jones because in the 90s as a young teen growing up, Roy was the guy. Mike was, starting to trickle down a little bit. So Roy was up the next thing, and then when he gets smashed, I was just like, I've never attached myself to a fighter. I like Earl, I like Tank, I like all them guys you named. Terrence, if they all lose, it's not gonna feel just like Mike and Roy to me.
Right. Right.
You came up in the golden era. I like to call it the golden era.
Yeah.
How do you look at these fighters nowadays compared to the fighters from back then?
I hate to say it, and I'll probably get a lot of flack from it, but they seem soft to me now, man. You know what I mean? Emotionally soft. You know what I'm saying? They let too much get to them. You know what I'm saying? And I think it has a lot to do with social media as well. It's like all of them wear their emotions on their sleeves at this point. You know, and back in the day when I was coming up, they really cared to find out who was the greatest. You know what I mean? They didn't really care that much about the money. They did, don't get me wrong, but they was more eager to find out who was the baddest, though. You know what I'm saying? It seems like I just don't see that anymore. I don't see them wanting to know who's really the baddest anymore. It's more of a business than anything at this point, which it should be. I mean, they're getting punched in the head for, so I get it. But I'm just spoiled from my era where the best really tried to fight the best. Now, we got some fights that we never got, and you're going to get that. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, we would get rematches after rematches. I mean, the rematches be better than the first fight, man, And we very seldom you even get a rematch these days anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it's not the same no more. I 100% agree with you. These young boys, they got it. You said it best, bro. They wear their emotions on their sleeves, and they got access to this internet, and they're actually reading what people are saying. Back in them days, Mike and Roy and them and Hagler and Ray Leonard, they ain't read no comment. They ain't go live and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
It was just a newspaper.
You would or the magazine, the Ring magazine. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, these young boys today, man, they can't nobody lose no more. You lose, you done. They throw you away in the trash. Like everybody want to get rid of Earl. Everybody want to get rid of Charlo.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I hate that, bro. Because I'm not a young boy, so I get it, bro.
That to lose now is almost the end of your career, which is crazy.
Right. I mean, like I always say, if you look at all of the greats, they all got losses. Some of them got beat up badly, and they came back and still was a great fighter. I mean, I look at the fight that Muhammad Ali lost to Joe Frazier. Muhammad Ali got whooped against Joe Frazier that first fight.
Yes, he did.
He got whooped in the middle of the post, and he came back. We saw what happened in the second fight. So I mean,
let me ask you this, man.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you this. So I wanted to get back. I know you were speaking about how your mother had a business. What about that how inspiring was that to see somebody who was a young mother be able to own a business with over 100 employees? I mean, what was that like?
What I learned from that, man, is that I never wanted to work for anybody. I never wanted to work from anybody. Watching my mom, you know what I mean, that only had a high school education, but yet had psychologists and psychiatrists working for her, had case managers working for her, and all those type of things, where people that had masters and PhDs and everything. but yet she was signing their checks, you know, and that really made me look at, you know, how life was really about. It wasn't about, you know, all you know, but it's how you go about getting it. You know what I'm saying? My mom worked for a company. She learned that company very well, and she didn't reinvent the wheel. She just became a spoke and mastered what they did and became even a better company than them. You know what I mean? So when I first turned 21, I opened my first business, you know what I mean, which was a pager company during the time, you know what I mean? And back then, you know, pagers was huge because, you know, everybody was getting money at that particular time. So I was one of the first minority contractors in Washington, D.C. to have my own pager company. And, you know, during that time, I'm selling to all the dealers, you know what I'm saying? So I made a lot of money, you know. I might have been 21 years old and I was making like 20, 30,000 a month. And that was a lot of money to me, you know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of
And
money right now.
So how did you navigate? How did you navigate? How did you navigate through DC? Because one thing I always heard, especially from my father, that DC. I said, how did you navigate through DC? Because one thing I always heard, especially from my father, that it was very treacherous there in DC. Like it was
well,
very cutthroat.
one thing about me, and which I'm not happy about, but I always kept one foot in the streets and one foot out. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing my thing on the Pages company, but I also was doing my thing on the other side of the street too. You know what I mean? So I never was wholeheartedly on either one of them. You know what I mean? So I played both of them 50. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, by me doing that, man, I end up getting shot and all types of stuff, man. But yeah, one thing about growing up in DC, man, it wasn't easy at all. You know, and then I grew up in the rifle era. You know what I mean? And during that time, man, a lot of people that I knew got expired, man, that never made it to age 20. We never even thought that we would get to age 20, to be truthfully honest, man. And when we got there, we were just waiting for the shoe to drop, you know? So it was tough, man. It was very tough growing up in DC, man. And it was and being as though that it's fed land, so anything that you do, if you go to jail, you go in the federal penitentiary due to it's federal land. So
Yep.
it
That's
was
what
a tough land, man, and everything was corrupt. Everybody was corrupt. Come on, our mayor went to jail, so that lets you know how corrupt the city was, man.
and then became mayor again.
Yeah,
And
but you
then
know what? We
became
loved them. We loved
yeah.
So I
we
ask you
loved
this,
the
man. I
hell out
know
of Mayor Bear because no matter what, he took care of the city.
Yeah, he did. He did. He was the best mayor that DC had to date. The best mayor that they had. He
Yeah,
started the big program and got those young boys off the street and got them in summer jobs and all kinds of stuff. He
the
did a
summer
lot.
school program. Yeah,
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 he did a lot for the city.
I did I did
yeah.
I did hear one thing my dad used to say all the time. They had so many different crews and stuff. So how would you, like you said, you had one foot in, one foot out. What was one of the things that made you leave DC? Hey, he wants to go to the
What made me leave DC?
yeah.
Jail. After I got out of jail, they sent me to Baltimore to a halfway house, and once I got out the halfway house, I just stayed in Baltimore. Then I just moved north of Baltimore, man. But it was the best thing to happen for me, man. It was the best thing. I got in trouble in Maryland, so I ended up being going to jail in Maryland, and I just decided not to move back to DC. I didn't want my children to grow up in DC. You know what I mean? Because I knew that it would be a tougher chance of them actually going to jail, man.
Yeah.
And not to say that Baltimore is a better place, but I didn't know nobody in Baltimore, so it was like a new beginning for me.
Yeah.
I know you said you knew the guy. What was that show? It was a show that they did in Baltimore. I believe you said you got a pawn shop. And what was the guy? I cannot remember. I think it
Uh,
was the corner.
it was the Wire and also the Corner. When I used to own a jewelry store, and the guy that used to work for me at my jewelry store, they made the show The Corner about him. His name was DeAndre.
Okay.
Yeah,
I completely forgot all about that show.
Yeah,
yeah, The
and that being
Corner.
said, I remember you said he wrote HBO on his resume or something funny like that.
Yeah, HBO. Yeah, I remember
So
when I interviewed him and I looked at his resume, and his resume said HBO. I'm like, HBO. And he was like, "You heard of The Corner?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, that movie, that series is based on my life." From what I understand, he passed away now.
Hmm.
But they actually had him play a role in the series The Wire. If you remember the Muslim guy that came down as a hitman, the
Yeah,
Muslim guy had a bodyguard, and the guy
yeah.
that was the bodyguard for the Muslim guy was the real DeAndre.
Oh, okay, okay. I know exactly who you're talking about. It was like his,
Boxing brother. Yeah.
yeah, it was like his man on when the hitman came. It was like his man that was standing with him. He never said anything. He
Right,
just
the guy that was showing him around the town and everything, and
yeah,
and they was looking for a guy, and he made the dude go into the gay club. That was
yeah.
the real DeAndre that he sent into the gay club.
all that was we said the way you're so visceral. That's what you said.
Huh?
That's what I'm talking about. Brother Luzon said you're disliking of certain people as visceral. And I remember DeAndre
Yeah,
said, "You
that's his
already
name, Brother
calling me
Luzon. Right.
Brother Luzon." Yeah. So the
Yeah. Well,
funny
the
thing
guy
too,
that was at DeAndre was actually DeAndre who the corner was made off of
hmm, but I also
in
wanted
the
to ask you.
California.
I know you were younger at the time, but what was it like? Because you also not too far from PG County, where so many great basketball stars came by. I'm surprised basketball wasn't your first love. With Lynn Bias, all those good guys that came out of PG County. What was that like?
That Len Bias thing was heavy, man. You know, that was real heavy. Because dude had a promising career, and to see that happen to him was heavy, and basketball was heavy in DC, but the coach of the Hoyas, man, he was a strict dude, man, and he even pulled up on Rayford and told Rayford, "Listen here, man, I need you to leave my guys alone." You know what I mean? They got a chance of being, successful in life, and I need you to pull up off of them. And, I respect him for doing that, man, because,
Big
he was
John
really
did that.
Was
jeopardizing
that
his own
John
life.
Thompson at the time? Was
Huh?
that John Thompson at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he
I know
pulled
John
he
Thompson
pulled
was there
up
for
on
a long
Ray and told Ray he needed to leave his guys alone, man.
Yeah, John Tom. The word on the streets was he wasn't afraid to pull up and tell them boys to stay away from his kids because he really
At
cared,
all.
bro. And they don't got coaches like that no more. Well, I ain't gonna say no more, but he could have he could have coached any school he wanted to for real, because the kids was gonna go with him. He had an understanding of the urban communities and maybe the lower income and kids or whatever. He'd take them kids and he get their full attention, bro. They full attention. So and he wasn't afraid. He'd pull up on you. That's word on the streets. They said
Hey,
John Thompson will
he was
pull
a
up.
big old joker too. He wasn't no little dude.
That's what I'm saying. He was a big 6 something himself, and he had some weight on him. So he pull up on you and he'll tell
16,
you he'll
yeah.
step to he'll step to the block. Cats, it could be a block full of brothers up there. He'll step to them
Yeah,
and tell them to leave his kids alone. That's what they would say. I
yeah,
knew that a long time ago, and that's what made me
yeah.
like
That's
John
true.
Thompson, the way he took care of the young brothers first.
Yeah.
Iverson. Victor Page.
I also got to ask you this. I also got to ask you this, man. When you hear about when you talk about a guy like Rayful, man, what was it like, man, to be growing up when it was his city because he was the king of DC? What was that like?
Well, the way y'all look at him, now is not how we looked at him then. You know what I'm saying? You know, he was doing his thing for sure. You know what I mean? But he just didn't seem that big because we all played our own position. You know what I mean? We knew
Right.
that he was that dude. Now, don't get me wrong, but you know, the media made him way bigger than how we seen him. You know?
Yeah, because there was other big dudes in DC. It's just
Nah, he
Rafe.
was the biggest. He was
No,
the
I know that's
biggest.
what I'm saying. He was the biggest. There was other dudes that was doing the same thing,
Oh
but
yeah,
he was
for
the
sure,
biggest.
for
He was the
sure,
biggest.
for sure, for sure. And Ray wasn't a vicious dude, man. He wasn't a vicious guy, but he had vicious people work underneath him, though.
I was about to say that Rafe was a real quiet dude. He didn't really talk too much. He was real quiet.
Yeah,
But when
And
he
also,
spoke, people listened.
I was also going to ask you, man, were you around during when Wayne Perry was out there?
definitely.
Yeah. If you was around with Rafe, you was around with Ray Perry.
Yeah, I say definitely, man.
You know, the thing that always get me, man, it seemed like DC cats are so smooth, but you always hear how vicious they can be. So that's kind of funny, man. When I first met you, I was like, first thing I know, I said, it's a charming cat, man, but he from DC. He probably used to be vicious.
Yeah, I mean, we had to play our position back then. We, you know, to make it out of DC wasn't easy, brother.
Yeah. I
Simple
mean,
as that.
you I hear them say that if you can make it out of New York, you make it anywhere. That's the same thing for DC in the 80s. If you made it
Yeah,
out of DC in the 80s, you can make it anywhere because
and that is
we
so
were
true.
literally
That is so
having
true.
5 or 6 bodies a day. 5 or 6 bodies a day. You hear it on the news every single night. And you got to be a strong individual and you got to be a smart individual. It wasn't so much how you move, it was how you calculated your moves. Because if you was out in DC in the 80s and moving stupid, you probably didn't make it out. A lot of the guys that made it out was smart and they calculated their steps.
Well,
Yeah, because
I'll say this.
one thing about
Go ahead.
DC guys, man, they were real sneaky, man. It was some, they were real sneaky cats and real smart guys, man. So it was a more mental game than it was a physical game. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because, yeah, trust me.
And I definitely got to do a part 2.
Say that again.
BVO, you went out. We couldn't hear you. Say that again, BVO. He driving.
I think he moving around. Yeah, he moving around.
Yeah, but yeah, man, DC was definitely different, man. I always said I wanted to do a podcast saying called "Surviving DC" because I got so many damn stories of stuff that we went through in DC, man. Starting from being just little dudes, man. Just being
Yeah.
little dudes, you know.
I know
Coming on.
a lot of kids that came up. Like I can like my cousin was a watch out guy. And,
Yeah.
and it wasn't nothing to brag about, but it was something that you had to go through. If you was coming up in DC and you wanted to get money, they would literally use the kids as watch out guys. Let us know when the police coming or when
Oh
you see the
yeah,
stick.
yeah. But that guy will make $100 a day.
Exactly. And I mean, it was crazy coming up in the 80s in DC. And I mean, I lived through it. My father lived through it. You lived through it. I mean, it was just crazy. That's why I said if you came through the 80s in DC and you made it out, you was one or two things. Either you stayed in the house a lot or you was a smart it was one or two things. You was a smart individual or you stayed in the house a lot. Because if you hang out in the streets and you hung out in the streets and you was stupid, 9 times out of 10, either you got locked up or you didn't make it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a rough town, man. Definitely a rough town. You know what I mean? But I thank God for it. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot from it. You know what I mean? I'm glad I didn't raise my children. I got 7 kids, man, and none of them raised in DC.
Yeah. I,
That's what's up.
I got 5 biological, well, 6 biological and 4 stepkids. My stepkids, they grew up in the Prairie Farms area, and but my kids, they
Oh
grew up
wow.
in yeah, they grew up in New York, so they never lived in DC. I told them stories about DC, and my son just automatically think that I was grown my entire life. He like, Dad, you don't know nothing about the streets. I'm like, if you only knew, coming up in DC in the 80s, if you only knew.
I don't even want. Yeah, I don't even want to know about them no more. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I
let me tell
mean,
you something. What I did learn once I got up here in Baltimore, one big southeast.
exactly,
Baltimore,
exactly.
one Baltimore is not a place to be messed with. Yeah.
I tell every time I ride through there, because I live like probably about 15 minutes away from Baltimore. Every time I ride through Baltimore, all I think of is Southeast. Every time, I'm like, man, this
Yeah,
joint look just like
just one
Southeast.
big southeast. Man. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah, I just stick to the harbor, and that's about it. I'm
Yeah,
good.
even the
I
harbor,
mean,
you catch some problems down there.
I know I went down there when I was
You
down there
will.
a couple years ago. I was looking around. I was like, damn, yo, we out here. You know
Yeah,
what I
hey,
mean?
hey,
So
dog,
I
if you go 10 blocks up from the harbor, you in the hood of Baltimore. 10
man,
blocks up.
the hood
Yeah.
was at the harbor is
You ain't
when
gotta
I
go.
was
You
there.
ain't gotta go 10. You don't even have to go 10.
The
That's
hood
right,
was
right
hood
around
was
the corner.
bro. The
That's just
hood was
literally
at
right around the
the
corner.
harbor, dog. They was literally there, dog. The hood. I wasn't tripping though. I don't be worrying about nothing like that. But they definitely was out there heavy though. You know
When
what I
the
mean?
last time
Selling this, selling that.
when the last time you been to DC, Jay?
Oh shit! I go DC at least once a month.
Okay. So you seen the changes, how they got it trying to look like Little
Oh yeah,
Manhattan.
yeah. I mean, it's gentrified like crazy, but my best friend lives in DC, so you know, I got to go down there.
No,
Same thing
I
like Philadelphia.
You know, I got
Philly,
3.
I'm out in the Philly area, and it's the same way. We're
no,
building $1 million condos right in North Philadelphia, where you couldn't.
I'm sitting there looking at
Well,
put the Gucci shop and Louis Vuitton and Dior all down. I'm like, y'all
They
do
gonna.
realize the hood is
They
right across the
it's
street.
just a matter of time before they get in there. You know what I mean? You can't be flexing that
well,
stuff
one
outside
thing
of them
about
neighborhoods.
DC now, they say if you're not worth $1 million, you can't really live in DC.
Yeah, that's a fact. No, they got right
Yeah.
there where the Gucci shop is. I mean, actually, Louis Vuitton. The building that Louis Vuitton is connected to, right above it, is apartments. They got 3 bedroom apartments that's going for $10,000 a month. ten
Hmm
thousand dollars a month
Same
for it.
same thing in Philadelphia. I'm building a 12-story condo now. This white guy come in there and bought the whole 9th floor for $6 million in cash. He
Yeah.
bought it.
Mm.
He cut a check, $6 million, and he gets the whole. He owns the whole 9th floor, dog. So I was gonna ask the boy, "What you gonna rent these Jones out?" He nope. He just cut it and made one big John. Dog. I was like, "Damn, that John gonna be fly."
Uh,
Looking
you
out that.
you'll see some of the houses in DC, and you'll be like, okay, that's a decent little house. But then you hear how much that house is
That
going
house gonna
for.
be about $600,000, man.
Nah, no, try like 2-3 million.
2-3 million.
Try 2-3
But when
million.
you go inside, hey, look, they shot them apartments they be doing that we building, bro. They and it is union work. FYI for everybody listening. But
I'm
those it's
out.
taking over, bro. It's taking over everywhere, dog. It's another one we about to put a 20-something story building in 10th and Birch in Philadelphia. That is in the middle of the hood, dog. And they
Yeah.
about to build this gigantic condos right there. I'm like, whatever, more
The
money
thing,
for me.
yeah, see the thing,
Fellas, I tell y'all what though, I'm gonna go ahead and jump on my dinner, man.
Yeah,
bro.
no
I
doubt, man.
appreciate
Appreciate you for pulling
getting
up.
in here with y'all, man.
Before you get up out of here, hardcore, tell the followers and the listeners about where they can follow you at your social medias, stuff like that.
I got a channel called Hardcore Boxing News,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm part of what we call the JBT Just Boxing Talk, man. It's just a bunch of us that get together, man, that believe in this beautiful sport of we call boxing, and we just want to take it to the next level, man. You know what I mean? We just about unbiased boxing talk, and we ain't into all that cursing each other out and all that type of stuff, man. We just want to talk boxing and have a place that we can go to where we can be safe and have fun. You know what I mean? I'm
Yep.
tired of all that cussing each other out and all that
Yeah,
stuff,
that's
being
whack.
real emotional. You know what I mean? And that's what the JBT is about, man. We just keep it simple, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed to be part of that, man.
No doubt.
All right. Appreciate you coming through, Jay
I
Hardcore.
appreciate you, man. Salute.
Hey, sorry about all this hardcore. I'm out here traveling, man. My bad, but I appreciate you coming through, man, because you got a really good story. I hope to do a part 2, man, because you got a really good story, man. It's a lot of people that need to hear it, man, and can learn something. Because I learned a few jewels from you myself, man. So, you know,
I
I know you're.
appreciate that, man.
I
I
know
keep
you're
pushing boxing, man. Let's keep pushing boxing, man.
for sure.
Already.
All right.
And
Y'all
I
take it
can't wait.
easy, man.
All
All
right.
right, you take care, man.
Peace.
Peace.
Hardcore boxing, man.
Yeah, that was a great interview, man. I like
Yeah,
that. That was a great interview.
yeah, that's a smooth brother right there, man. Y'all go sub up to his channel, man.
Yeah, so
He like me. I can never live in DC. I can never live in DC.
Same thing. Free. I can't live in Philly. It's the same thing.
Yeah, like see, like with DC, you don't own the property that you buy your house at. You only own the house. At any time, like he told you, the whole land, the whole city is federal. So at any time the government decide they want your land, they'll buy you out. That's why I can never buy a house in DC. I can rent a house, but I can never buy a house in DC.
You might be better off renting these days.
Nah.
The way these people, some people, these young people can't even get into a house. They don't got the money. And the houses, they used to be $200,000, and now $400,000 and $600,000.
No, I'm gonna tell you like this: if you rent a house in DC, you got the money to buy a house because a 3-bedroom house going for like $3,500 a month. Oh,
yeah.
I can rent my house out. I can rent my house out for about $30-something hundred right now too.
You a goofball, man. Anyway, you got pride talking that goofy stuff, man.
I'm dead ass serious. That's real talk.
But salute the hardcore, man. Gave us some jewels, man. You know, as my uncle would say, jewels. Because at the end of the day, man, it's always good to hear different people from different places give you their idea. And it's kind of good, you know, we got them to talk a little bit about a few things that didn't, you know, necessarily can talk about boxing. So it's always good to know the people that you watch and get to learn a bit from them. Because, you know, BVO is working every day to be the Howard Stern of boxing talk. And, you know, I got my guy, D Free, aka aka my co-host and the craziest dude in the world, my man Prize Fighter, Mr. Outbeat Philly by hand. So we're gonna keep growing, man. We're gonna keep doing our thing, man. D-Town Funk, salute. My man Bruce Gas, Melon Queen, the Dream, the only one that matters. Salute to you as well, my brother. My man like that, William Old School. We're gonna get out of here, man, and let me figure out this run across stuff because I'm out here running around here like OJ. All right, peace, y'all.
Peace.